Okay, so today I am doing the Book Snob book tag. Don't know why we need the word book twice there, but that's okay. So yeah, I just wanted to find a tag that I hadn't done before, and I came across this one, and I don't consider myself to be a book snob. You know, perception is reality. Some people may think I am. I don't think I am. But the reason I chose this tag was because I don't think I am. I feel like this would be a challenge for me. So let's see how challenged I get with this one. All right. These prompts don't seem to be numbered. So I'm not going to say prompt number 1. I'm just going to say the question and you'll understand as we go along. Let's jump right in. Feel free to play along at home or wherever you are by leaving your answers in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. It does help my channel to grow. I am doing a lot more book tags these days. So if you're enjoying that, let me know and I'll continue to do more. And give this video a thumbs up because that will help me to know that you're loving the book tags. And yeah, if you're not getting notifications for this channel, hit the bell, ding, and hit on all notifications so you can be notified each and every time I upload a video. Alright, all of that out the way, let's jump right in. This is the challenging for me. We'll see how we go. We'll see if it's challenging. Who knows? The Book Snob book tag. And the first prompt is adaptation snob. Do you always read the book before watching the film or TV show? I think it depends on the situation, honestly. I've done both. It depends on which medium I become aware of first. So I don't actively set out to read the book first or watch the film or TV show first. So I can give you an example of a film series that I fell in love with and didn't know was a book, and then went and read the books afterwards, and that would be the Divergent series. The book series is by Veronica Roth. So I watched the first film Divergent many years ago. Obviously, the books had been published prior to that, but I didn't know they existed. I loved the film, the first film. When I found out that the film was an adaptation of a book series, I got really excited, and so went out and purchased Divergent, read it, loved the book, because the book goes into more detail than the film does, which is most often the case, and yeah, continued on with reading the series from there. So I started with the film and then went on to the books. An example of book to film would be, oh gosh, that's a tough one. I'm gonna say The Woman Outside My Window by A.J. Finn. I read that book this year. I think it was this year. I'm getting my times when I read books mixed up because I've been here for more than 3 years, so forgive me. I think it was this year. That's an adult thriller. I loved the book so much, and then found out that it was on Netflix, so I watched the film adaptation. I did not like the film. I had issues, and apparently a lot of readers of The Woman Outside My Door by A.J. Finn also didn't like the film, so it's not an unpopular opinion. But yeah, that's an example of me starting with the books. Another example of me starting with the visual adaptation, I'll go with the TV show. I love the TV series Shadowhunters. Alec is my dude. Absolutely love Matthew Daddario's portrayal of Alec and the relationship of Malik, Alec, and Magnus. And then I found out that after I had seen every single episode of every single season of Shadowhunters, the TV show, I then found out that that was originally a book series written by Cassandra Clare called The Mortal Instruments. I'm going to confirm that. Yes, called The Mortal Instruments book series. So I decided to read the books after having already seen every single episode I possibly could in every season of Shadowhunters. And yeah, so came to the books that way. So it really, to me, I don't feel like I am a snob in the sense that I need to do one version first before the other. It really just comes back down to which one I discover first. That's the one that I consume first. And then if I love it enough and find out it's available in the other medium, then I'll then I will consume that medium. I don't want to say watch because that implies I read it first. So yeah, whichever one I discover first, I do first, and then if I want to, and I find out it's in another format, then I'll consume that format second. That took way too long. Let's move on to the next question. Format snob. You can only choose one format in which to read books for the rest of your life. Which do you choose? Physical books, ebooks, or audiobooks? This is very easy for me. I choose audiobooks. Yeah, it's probably unlike, the opinion I have on the woman outside my windows film, which was very popular. My answer for this prompt is probably very unpopular, an unpopular opinion. I love audiobooks ever since I first discovered that audiobooks were an option. I have, since I started on my booktube channel, that is, discovered that audiobooks were an option. I have fallen in love with audiobooks. I find them a much easier way to consume a book. I first started listening to audiobooks when I was reading a tough book for me to read, and so was given the advice, try it on audiobook and read along with the book and see if that helps you, and it did, and it opened my eyes up to the option of audiobooks. So I do still purchase physical books because I like having the physical representation on my bookshelves for the sake of the memories, but also just to have it there so I can see them. But yeah, if I had to choose only one, I would choose audiobooks because that's what I do anyway. I do not remember the last time I sat or laid down and read a physical book. And that's not because I can't. I know there are some people out there who their only option is to listen, consuming an audiobook rather than reading. I can read physical books. I have no roadblocks there for me. I choose to listen to audiobooks. I just find it easier on me. So there's my answer for that one. Next one. Ship snob. Would you date or marry a non-reader? Well, of course I wouldn't. Why would I date or marry a non-reader? I mean, how dare you? It would be heresy. No, I'm totally kidding. I don't think anyone I've ever dated would have classified themselves to be a reader. So I don't think that matters. At the end of the day, the only, well, I want to say requirement, but that sounds so wrong. The only thing that my date or end up being someone that I marry would need to do for me is be okay with the fact that I'm a reader. I don't mind or care if they read or not. They do what they do. At the end of the day, as long as they're fine with the fact that I am a reader. If they have an issue with me being a reader, well, I'm too late gone in my life to, you know, have anyone just waltz into my life and change me. So not going to happen. And if you have a big problem with it, well, there's the door. And in the words of so many actors on TV, there is the door and you may use it. Don't let it hit you on the way out. But yeah, I mean, as long as they accept me for who I am and are fine with the fact that I read, then I'm happy to date, or if things progress to a better point, to marry them. I mean, who knew that dating and marriage would come up in a bookish tag, but it's fine. Your Mr. Francy is single and fabulous. I'm very, very happy about it. Like, honestly, I've been in that many relationships that were just not good. So for me, I'm very happy to be single, but if the situation arose where I was dating or I was getting married, as long as they're fine with me reading, I say this in the best possible way, very much a, millennials response. I don't care what you do. I always had this saying growing up anyway, regardless of my generation, which was Gen Y, which is, do what ye will, lest ye harm none. I don't care what you do as long as you're not hurting anyone. And I expect the same in return from my partner. Me reading books doesn't hurt anyone. So as long as they don't mind that, there you go. That was a way too complicated answer for such a simple question. Let's move on. Here we go. I've seen the first two words and this may challenge me. Genre snob. You have to ditch one genre, never to be read again for the rest of your life. Which one do you ditch? Oh, this is easy. Westerns. That's okay. If you were saying you have to ditch like 4 genres, then I might be challenged, but I don't read Westerns. The reason for it might change. I'm not saying that I'm not open to it nowadays, because I might pick up a Western in the future. The things may have changed. But for me, I grew up reading fantasies, and so the idea of a battle being limited to mortal weapons such as a gun just doesn't appeal to me. It's nothing else but that. Like, I'm used to people using magical powers and having an epic magical power related battle, and then you have 1, 2, 3, draw. Like, I mean, it just doesn't appeal to me at all. In saying that, Western romances may appeal to me. I need to try them to know. But, yeah, Westerns in general, they're just not my thing. So I would drop Westerns. I would also drop poetry. I think I may have given poetry 1 or 2 goes in my life, and it never ends well for me. It's just not my thing. You know, bless Edgar Allan Poe. I really want to try and get into Edgar Allan Poe, and I really want to try and understand The Raven and many of his other works that he's done. But poetry is just not my thing. So there you go, you get a bonus. I would drop Westerns because I don't care for them, and I would drop poetry because they just never seem to work out for me. Oh gosh, here we go. Uber genre snob. Bit scared. Here we go. You can only choose to read from one genre. This is where I'm gonna break y'all. You can only choose to read from one genre for the rest of your life. Which genre do you choose? This is not fair. I did not sign up for this. No, I'm not answering this question. Goodbye. No, don't make me. Oh my gosh. You know what? It would be so hard for me to just read from one genre, because I am, now that I've been on booktube for 3 years, considering myself to be more and more well-read with a vast, eclectic number of genres that I read. So to give you an example, I read classics, I read dystopians, I read fantasy, I read sci-fi, even though I haven't this year. I do plan to go back to sci-fi. I read thrillers, I read memoirs, I read romance, I read LGBTIQ+, I read cozy mysteries, I read standard mysteries, I read dark fantasy, I will read literary fiction here and there, I suppose, but, I've read 1 or 2 historical fictions as well, if you want to count them. So I am very well read when it comes to genres. I always wanted to be. I never wanted to limit my reading to just one genre. So this question is not fair. Okay. Now that we are well aware of how I feel about this one, fine, if you're holding me down and forcing me to pick an answer, it's still going to be a struggle bus, because it would be between fantasy and cozies. Had you asked me this maybe a year ago, I would have said fantasy, but now I'm loving my cozies so much that, frankly, if I was forced to only read one genre, it would be heck for me. But if I was forced to, I actually probably wouldn't mind it being cozies, because cozies can be very varied. So even though it is cozy and the murder or whatever the mystery is, or anything too adulty themed will take place off the page, there are so many different types of cozies, so, and some are grittier than others, so therefore I can have that variety, as well as the profession that the amateur sleuth has is very varied. The amount of books that may be in a series is varied. The amount of page counts for each book in that series, or each book in any series of a cozy mystery, varies. So I think my safest bet will be cozies, but I protest this question and just need you all to know I protest. Let's move on before I protest one more time. Okay, community snob. Which genre do you think receives the most snobbery from the bookish community? Are you serious? I probably would say literary fiction, purely because it's the first thing that comes to mind, from what I've heard, not from what I've seen. So I cannot prove this at all. I have no receipts other than people saying it on booktube, but people have said that readers who exclusively read literary fiction can be quite snobbish in their approach to literary fiction, especially. Look, again, I said this in the outset of this video, I don't consider myself to be a snobbish reader, but I consider myself to have strong opinions about different genres, particularly cozy mysteries and horrors. Not that I'm a huge reader of horrors, but I am very specific in what I want or require to get a 5-star horror rating. Otherwise, you're just not going to get it from me. So if you want to consider that to be snobbery, that's fine, and I can understand that. But literary fiction, readers of literary fiction generally, from what I've heard, again, no receipts from what I've heard, read that genre to read more into the book than what the book is actually saying, which is the opposite to me. I read my books literally to consume the words that are on the page. So if you're telling me that Lila is walking down the street to meet Bill and she sees Bill holding a bunch of flowers, that's what I'm taking from the book. I am not taking the form of, oh, this is a commentary on communism, or this is a commentary on the heteronormity values of society, or whatever. So yeah, look, to me, I feel like literary fiction readers who exclusively read literary fiction, from what I've heard, again, do tend to do that. They'll read a lot more into the work than just what is being written on the page, and that is their right to do so. It's just, yeah, that's the first thing that I think of is literary fiction readers, especially exclusive literary fiction readers. And especially because a lot of literary fiction, there is a lot that can be taken away from it, not just looking into what the book may be a commentary on, but also looking at the writing style itself. Like, is it flowery? Does it have purple prose or anything like that? And if so, you know, why? And there's just a lot of things that different people decide to talk about when it comes to literary fiction. Not me. I think the only literary fiction book that I currently own is My Dark Vanessa, which I did love, but I didn't read more into it than I needed to. Okay, I'm going to move on. I'm not trying to offend anyone. If you're an exclusively literary fiction reader and you are someone who wants to read more into every book that you read than just the words on the page, there is nothing wrong with that. I just think that fulfills the prompt that I'm being given for this thing. We're going to move right along. That's the end of the book tag. That was very, very short. I wanted more. I was getting challenged in that one. Okay, so I guess, yeah, I'll end it there. It was a shorter video because there's no more questions. I want to do another one, but I don't feel like I have time to do another one in the one video, so I'll end it here. Okay, so that was the end of the Book Snob book tag, and I found this on the shelf of funreadbooks.wordpress.com, so thank you to whoever came up with this tag. It was something different that I hadn't done before, and I enjoyed it. What were your answers? Let me know in the comments section below. Again, anything that I say here, you know, I'm not trying to offend anyone. It's just my own thoughts and opinions. So, you know, just take what I say with a pinch of salt. Really, at the end of the day, I'm not trying to hurt anyone or harm anyone. I'm just giving my own opinion. I don't know why I have to do disclaimers. It is absolutely fine. But, you know, in case you were offended, I wasn't trying to offend you. I was just trying to give my answers. I'm going to move on now. Okay. Anyway, we'll move on. If you get it, you get it. So, all good. All right, everyone, I'm going to let you all go with peace, blessings, and so much love. Please do be kind and love one another and spread your sparkling energy all throughout the world. If you have any comments, thoughts, and or questions, let me know in the comments below, especially if you have a book tag you'd like to see me do. Let me know that as well. All right, everyone, thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Spread your sparkling energy all throughout the world, and happy reading! Bye, everyone!